When you use your credit card to buy something, you may be thinking about when and how you'll pay off that purchase. Behind the scenes, there's been a fight over another type of credit card payment, how much the retailer is expected to pay for the transaction. Each time you swipe your credit card, the retailer pays a fee. It's called an interchange fee. It's between 1.5% and 3% of the total sale. It's estimated retailers paid $5 billion in these fees in 2010, and it's grown since. Ottawa promised in the budget to make some changes to that. The government argues lowering those fees would be good for consumers. Lower costs for retailers should be passed on. That means lower prices for most shoppers. The credit card companies, of course, are anxious to keep those fees on their balance sheet, arguing consumers benefit. In a statement on its website, Visa says interchange provides the incentives necessary to assure that financial institutions invest in the Visa system and the benefits we all enjoy with payment products, from protection against fraud to car rental insurance coverage to airline miles to 24/7 customer service. The last word on this goes to Rudyard Griffiths. This is one of those kind of retail politic friendly moves that the government was making, but I have to say I think they're on the side of the angels with this one. This is the situation where the credit card companies basically force retailers to take whatever charge they say the card comes with. The retailer can't turn down cards in our country, and they can't even say to the customer, if you use this card, I could charge you less. I could charge less for my cost of production. What's your sense of whether this is fair or not?
Well, Amanda, I take a 180-degree view on this from yours. I think the cards are doing what consumers want. We want all this stuff. We want these ridiculous travel points. I don't collect them, but other people do like maniacs. They want all kinds of perks. And they want credit. At the end of the day, credit costs something,
sure,
right? So what do the credit card companies do? They do what the cell phone companies do. The cell phone companies give you a $800 phone for $200 as long as you enter into a contract. So what they're doing is they're amortizing the costs of that card, the real cost to you for all those great services, over the length of your holding that card.
But the difference is when I enter into a mobile phone contract, it's a contract between the customer and the mobile phone company. The interchange fees actually, it captures every shopper. So even if you always pay cash, and cash costs the retailer zero, it's just the cost of whatever he's selling to you. He makes whatever he's going to make. And I use my Black American Express card, which costs 3%. You wind up paying some of my credit card interchange fee because he's going to charge a little bit more for the good we both purchased, so that we share the costs. And that's where this becomes unjust. To me, the most important thing in this whole debate is not what the right fee should be. Some jurisdictions like Australia have tried to impose, what the fee should be. I just think clarity is important. Consumers should know we all pay more because of specialty credit cards and the fees they're allowed to charge.
Yeah, we're all paying for the perks of your Black American Express card. I don't have one of those,
I don't
Amanda.
have one of those, but I do have a travel card, and I love it. You're right.
Exactly.
I collect points like a maniac.
Yeah, you love that, and you have to understand that you're not getting it for free. You know this. In economics, nothing is for free.
Not only am I not getting it for free, though, I'm charging you for it.
Right. We're all cross-subsidizing each other, just like we do with all other kinds of...
Why is that the right thing? If I want loyalty points, it should be something that I am associated with, not every shopper. It doesn't make any sense. And least of all the retailer. I mean, many of these where this comes, the kind of rubber meets the road. It's not the huge, the behemoth retailers. It's the little mom and pop retailer who can't afford to take these high-end cards. They can't afford not to take them because we live in a world where everybody wants them. And there you have these credit card companies who just say, this is the fee, take it or leave it.
There's two companies, Visa, MasterCard. You were just talking in your tech panel about what Apple and Google are doing in terms of electronic payments. We're going to be into a world of competition that's going to solve this problem, both for retailers and consumers, and it's too early for government to act.
Now we're going to agree. I think it's too late for government to act, but as usual, they will close the barn door after the horse is bolted. And just as it is in the television broadcasting industry, the regulator will come out and say, we have a fix for this problem, and everyone will say, what problem? We're all using mobile pay, or we're using this other system, and it is, by the way, free. But you know what happens in that transaction? Credit card companies and my loyalty program, I'm very sad to say, go away. They can't exist. Their whole model is based on these fat fees.
Amen to that, sister.
Are you happy? You're happy to have my loyalty program
yes,
go away,
I hate those programs.
But what about to the credit card company's point? We don't actually know, because they don't have to tell us where they're making their money. So how much of that? Because credit cards are an important part of our financial system. Is it enough that enough people pay their interest, that very high rate of interest, that it spreads the cost of doing that business around, or are they actually going to change the way they do business?
And the banks are at the table here too. They collect a portion of these interchange fees, and they like the cards that have the biggest interchange fees because they get the biggest portion. But what do the banks do? They have to run these cards. They have to run the programs
There's a cost.
associated with service. Again, I just get to the point.
But these are 18% loans,
It's
don't
smart
forget.
marketing. They fooled ourselves into thinking that these cards are free. They're not. We pay, merchants pay. That's life. Get on with it.
All right. One other aspect of life that is reality, and this is especially true in the U.S., is fewer and fewer people own stocks. The share of stock ownership is falling, and that's especially true for, when I say overall the share, that's true for people of middle and lower income. So when people say, oh, it's okay that corporate profit is going up and share prices are going up even though wages aren't because everyone owns stocks in those companies, no. 48% of Americans own stocks. The rest do not. And the share of stock ownership rising is only the very wealthiest Americans. So if you're super rich, you're owning more stock than you used to, but otherwise probably less.
Yeah, and it goes right to the heart of what the problems this Fed has in terms of monetary policy and creating the so-called wealth effect that they hope that this roaring stock market would create vis-a-vis individual people and what their buying expectations are, their consumer habits. It's not happening because most Americans don't own. They sold at the wrong time. They sold in 2008, 2009.
Or they never owned because it's it's a wealthy thing to do to own stocks in the U.S. So to me, that's the question: is we both talk about the investor class and the working class. Is there a way to get more workers owning stocks? Maybe that's the answer to
higher interest rates.
the inequality
Stop
problem.
subsidizing the banks. Let people actually make money on the money they have in a bank account as opposed to speculating on Wall Street.